self-worth.
Yes.
Psalms 139:14. Know your self-worth. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Okay? And we're going to transition to dating soon. So I believe my husband has something to share.
As my wife, don't she sound so good?
Oh, thank you.
So one of the things that I want to definitely get and stress, and this is a good segue. So you might be thinking like, hey, I'm single, but at some point I want to be married. So one of the things that I believe God gave me is that think of your dating, and as you want to move forward in the dating process, think about a flower, right? This flower is beautiful. It's beautiful, right? I picked it out of our yard this morning. It's beautiful, right? And this is what I can give you with the dating process. It's beautiful to date. All of these things are around. They're beautiful. But one thing that I noticed and my wife noticed is that when you flip the flower upside down, you see some hidden weeds. Yes. You see some hidden things that are not right. You like, wait a minute, it's beautiful, but underneath I see some dead things. Yeah. I see some things that are not right. What are those things that we need to check before we go into being married? Because it's beautiful with being dating, but your dating is that you may evaluate. Yes. What? Evaluate the person. You must be able to know the temperament of the person, right? So my thing with dating and moving into marriage is that it's a beautiful thing, but you must know what's going on behind the scenes.
Sometimes people aren't going to get it, but I have to leave them at the place that they are. I'm not at the place where I have to explain every decision that I've made. I don't need everybody to get it or understand. And I think that comes with freedom too, of like, this decision that I'm making may not be what somebody else had for me. And I have to let go of the vision of what other people think I should be doing. Because if you attach yourself too much to what decision everybody else thinks you should be making, it makes it harder for you to show up and do what you're supposed to be doing or do what God has called you to do. So a lot of times walking in your purpose, it comes with tough conversations. It comes with tough decisions. But you will spend yourself into a tizzy trying not to make the decision, trying not to have a tough conversation. And then when you do it, you're like, oh, wow, the world didn't end. Everything is actually going to be okay. And even if it goes bad, you're going to live to see tomorrow and it's going to get better.
Enjoying your singleness and, dating, things always come like fun when it's unexpected. Like when you're not like planning it, or when you're not like, when you're just having fun, you're not even pressuring about, let me find a mate, let me do this. Things, God just start putting things in your life. Boom, 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 boom. And you like, wow. Right. Like, okay. And you was over there all this time? Okay. So I'll just say, like you said, enjoy it. Things will come.
One of my things prior to accepting myself more is I wanted to go to Paris. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to Paris unless I'm in a relationship. Like, I'm not. Like, who's going to Paris without the man? Like, what's going here, right? And so my bestie has two besties, and both of her besties' name is Tiffany. So they were going, Tiffany, my bestie's going to Paris with her girlfriend, and my bestie dropped out. I was like, I'm going. I had spent enough time with myself, and I was maturing. I was enjoying life. I'm like, I can't miss this opportunity. Right. And when I went, it was still Paris. It was still dope. It was still awesome. It was breathtaking. You know what I mean? And I'm so glad that I did that I did not pass up that opportunity.
What are you holding off on doing because you're waiting for something else to happen? Mm-hmm. Who are you allowing to stump your progress and moving forward? Oh, my friends won't go, so I can't go. Like, how does that work? We want to be careful of that because we're trying to be empowered, but we got to be empowered to do some stuff that may cause us to step out alone.
If that's a part of you and you see that you're not gelling in important areas of your life, like Marquise said, if she can't cook, she don't love God. I don't want to say that because, you have people in the world that don't even know God and have successful marriages.
That's right.
So you have to know, like you said, number one is what is it that you want? What is it that you're looking for? And, so as you dating, you have to really throw something. I always say wisdom. Unveil yourself in certain areas and see how she responds. And all of that is, if you see that she can't handle a little tablespoon, so how you gonna give her a big kitchen spoon? So I always tell people you got to use wisdom and what you want. Back up, give them something, see how they act, And we went shopping together one day, and I was paying for her stuff as well as mine. So it didn't come to over $100. So I gave the lady a $100 bill. And when cashier began to give me my change, she said, "Oh, no, give me that." I said, "Strike 3.
We're speaking about bleeding or coming across as, like you said, angry, and you're not healed in the area that you're trying to speak to others about. I think you'll know you're coming from a place of unhealed, or what I like to say trauma, is when it's not the fruit of the spirit. It's like Sherry was saying, like you have this sense of, I want to say, like you'll be peaceful in how you're coming across. It won't come off angry. It won't come off bitter. It won't come off judgmental, because none of those are the fruits of the spirit. And I think when you know the fruit of the spirit, you know when you're in it and when you're not in it, and we need to kind of pull back and get healing. And I also think it also comes from burnout, as we were talking about earlier. And she was saying you're coming from a place of overflow. That's when you're doing the healing. But when you're trying to pour from an empty cup, yeah, it's going to come off probably angry, bitter. You're going to bleed on others because you're coming from a place of drought. You're not healed in these areas. You still have trauma. So it is going to come across that way. But when you are in a place of healing and God is using you and you are in his spirit, it's not going to come across angry or judgmental or bitter or upset at your people. Like you said, you know who you're called.
Too, I believe in confirmation. I believe, like, when we go for a job interview, when we go looking for a career, we pray about that. At least Christians, a lot of, we pray, Lord, is this the right job for me? Lord, is this the right car for me? Lord, some things obviously are natural that we can just pick and God give us free will. But, my mentors always say, who you pick as a mate is the second most important decision you'll ever make in your life next to salvation. Right. It's forever, right? It's supposed to be forever, right? We know it doesn't always happen that way, but it's supposed to be. So you got to do some homework. Like, you got to make sure. And I think one of the key things is that you have to be in a place, particularly as a man or a woman, in a place of maturity. And that's why sometimes it takes time, because you have to, if I was to look at my 18-year-old self and selecting a wife compared to now, it would be totally different.
And so I think that, when I was in my 20s and my 30s, that's why I said, at the place of surrender now, but it wasn't always. Like, my mother has been saved since before I was alive. So I was running from stuff. I didn't want the assignment. I knew what was, on the call that was on my life, but I ran from it because I didn't want to be the church girl. I didn't want to be associated with that. I didn't want to be associated with ministry. And so when you get to this space and you realize, because it's not just about you, that it's about my lineage, it's about my children, it's about the people that I was created to impact, that, that's when the surrender came. But it wasn't surrender in 20s. It wasn't surrender in 30s. It was like, God, like Jonah, like, why did you choose me? Like, what? I don't want to go to Nineveh. I don't want to go. I'm going to chase, but you're putting other people's lives in jeopardy. And so that was the thing, that surrender, because I'm now at a space that, wait a minute, it all makes sense. It's all connected. And it's, it's at levels that I can't really explain. But yeah, my 20s and 30s.
He said something about alignment, like allowing, like, what is the value? Are you bringing value to my life? Like, are you helping me accomplish goals and dreams? Am I a better person with you? Like, I think what makes my marriage thrive is that I don't have to search outside of her for support, for friendship, for entertainment. Like, that's my source. So you want to, not saying that your wife has to be your end all be all. You should definitely have brothers, but you want to make sure that there's value added. That person is adding value. And then lastly, and I'm gonna shut up, is happiness starts from self. Like if you're looking for somebody to come in and make you happy and give you, that comes from the inside. You know, what that person is just adding on to already what you have on the inside. So that's it. That's all I got.